Hi guys, welcome to the maiden edition of the show Pages with Tiana, showing on your favorite channel, People's Television, channel 120 on Star Times. It's that one show where we talk about everything that cuts across all the phases of life, from friendship to relationship to family to entertainment, politics, security, health, you name it. But on this show and on this episode, we will be talking about breastfeeding and motherhood. And it's one of the very important aspects of our lives as Africans, because we have a lot of benefits, and we also have a lot of effects that affects the breastfeeding mother or a breastfeeding mother. I have my guest here in the house, but before I continue, we're gonna go on a very short break. When we're right back, we'll start from where we start. Alright, welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's the show Pages with Tiana, showing on your favorite channel, People's Television, channel 120 on Star Times. And it's that show where we talk about everything that cuts across all the phases of life. Today, we will be looking at the topic motherhood and breastfeeding, or breastfeeding and motherhood. I have my guest in the house, none other than Dr. Ndidi Iloduba. She's actually my first guest. I'm so excited. She's a pediatrician with the Federal Medical Center here in Abuja. Dr. Ndidi, it's so good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
You are a doctor, and a doctor with children in a layman's language. All right, and today we are talking about breastfeeding and motherhood. So I would like you to tell us what's the relationship between breastfeeding and motherhood, because trust me, it's a concern for us in this part of the world.
Breastfeeding and motherhood. Breastfeeding is part of motherhood. Every mother is made to take care of the baby, to take care of the nutritional needs of the baby through breastfeeding. In fact, from the point of pregnancy, from the point that a female child is being formed, the breast tissues are also being developed. So it's all part of the development of a female. And then during pregnancy, the breast also develops and gets ready. Milk is produced and stored in the breast to feed the baby. And once the baby is born, the baby is set to breastfeed. One amazing thing about breastfeeding is that when a baby is born and is just placed on the mother's belly, the baby by reflex and instinct just crawls towards the breast and starts sucking. It's a natural concept. It's a natural instinct that God just created for the mother and the baby.
Okay, I really love that part where the baby just crawls by reflex to the mother's breast. But then I know there's some behavioral changes that comes with motherhood when it comes to breastfeeding. All right, sometimes it's some emotional change. I know some mothers get angry unnecessarily, some mothers feel very dizzy. But I don't just want to assume. I have a pediatrician here, so you just gotta tell us what are these behavioral changes, emotional or otherwise, that comes with breastfeeding.
All right. There are a lot of emotional changes that come with motherhood. It's actually the motherhood concept. After delivery, there are some changes that can happen. Some women have some mental health problems.
Oh wow, mental health.
Yes, when we talk about mental health, it ranges from anxiety to depression, because the delivery process is a stressful process, and when a woman is not experiencing optimal support, the woman can break down and have some of these challenges. So you can have depression, you can have anxiety, you can have sometimes overt psychosis. So these things are not really related to breastfeeding. Actually, it's the part of the process of the delivery. For some mothers, it lingers on for weeks and even months. But breastfeeding has been seen to actually reduce these mental health problems. It has a beneficial effect. Studies have shown that mothers that breastfeed tend to be less anxious. They tend to be have less incidence of depression and all these challenges that happen.
Okay, I'm sorry to cut you, Dr. Didi. You know, when we talk about the emotional changes of this breastfeeding and motherhood, all right, you talked about support, and then you also talked about the mental illness, all right? But then you're also saying that breastfeeding reduces the mental stability of a mother. Okay, now what I want to really understand, of course, and what every other person would want to understand is, where does this support come from? Does the mother actually need external support to breastfeed her child?
Yes.
or does the child need support to be breastfed? You understand? So I really want you to maybe stress on that.
The support that every breastfeeding mother or every new mother needs is support from the husband, the family, the immediate family.
Okay.
Exactly. The father has a very important role to play when a new baby arrives. In fact, some countries give paternity leaves to fathers
Are you
to
serious?
encourage such.
Oh, wow.
It's stressful actually because these babies feed at night. So a mother suddenly now stays awake all night. A mother that never used to have
Stay
such
awake,
experiences.
I know.
And then, it can be exhausting. So it can be stressful. So the father can actually help. If the mother feeds and sometimes the babies don't get to bed, go to bed immediately after feeding. So they stay awake. So the father can cuddle the baby while the mom rests.
Okay.
Until the baby finally sleeps off.
Okay.
And then to support and encourage, going to the hospital with the mother, providing the basic needs, caring. It's not a time that the father should move out and move to his own room, a separate room, because the baby has arrived and he's not ready for the cries and whines of the baby. No, the father has to be actively involved. And then other members of the family, the community, it's everybody.
Community. That means it's a work that has to be done by everybody. Okay, having talked about the support and then the behavioral changes, I would like to really know what's really the benefit of breastfeeding. Do we really have to breastfeed our children? Like, I'm in support of breastfeeding, but do we really have to breastfeed the baby? What's this benefit to both the mother and the child, and of course to the community, like you said earlier on?
All right. There are numerous benefits associated with breastfeeding. So the baby, first of all, breast milk is species specific. So every animal, every mammal produces breast milk for its womb. So the composition is such that it has adequate nutrients that will provide the basic requirements.
That's the composition of the breast milk.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
The optimal nutrients that are needed for growth and development. So the nutrients are such that they are in the right composition and they will sustain the child at each stage of the development. So if you have a preterm baby, the baby gets the exact nutrients that are required for catch-up growth at that stage. So he has the basic nutrients. He has enough water, so you don't even need to give water.
Okay, Dr. Ndidi, I'm really going to cut you again. Well, how about children who are premature?
Yes.
Who are actually giving birth to prematurely? Do they also need breast milk, and how do you even breastfeed them? Because I know they have to be incubated. All right, so how about those children who are giving birth to premature? What happens to them as well?
Yeah, they actually breastfed. It depends. Prematurity is a long there's a long range. There are different stages of the prematurity. Some are born very preterm, some are born a little bit more mature. So at each stage, the breast milk is actually sufficient to meet the needs of the baby at that stage. So those that are very small, that don't have reflexes for sucking, well developed, we express the breast milk and still feed them. So at that stage,
anyway
they get the breast milk. In fact, we don't even advocate for giving artificial milk to preterm babies early because it's associated with a lot of complications.
So there's an effect to this?
Complications.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because their intestines, their gastrointestinal tract is not optimally developed to handle such.
Okay, so Dr. Ndidi, can you tell us the benefits of this breastfeeding to both the child and the mother, and of course the community, like you said earlier?
Alright. Breastfeeding is so important and it has enormous benefits.
Yeah.
To the child, it provides all the necessary nutrients that the child needs to grow and to develop. So, and they are there in the right proportions, and they are also age specific. So even preterm babies get to have enough nutrients that will help them catch up in their growth. So all the nutrients, including water, breast milk has up to 90% of 90% of its content is water. So the baby doesn't even need to drink extra water again while being breastfed. And then it also takes care of infections. It has anti-infective properties like antibodies, white blood cells that protect the children from falling sick. So they are protected from having respiratory tract infections, diarrhea diseases, and they're also protected from having type 1 diabetes, and even obesity and later.
Obesity.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. Breastfed infants are less likely to be obese compared to those that are on formula.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so how about the benefits to the mother?
To the mother, it protects the mother from having some cancers, like
Cancers.
like breast cancers and ovarian cancers. And then a mother that breastfeeds, that does exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months, also has some form of natural contraception. So it helps in child spacing. So she's less likely to take in during that 6 month period, although it's not 100% thing. And another benefit is that the emotional bonding. The mother spends time carrying the baby. There is increased contact, and she tends to have a bonding and attachment and a sense of fulfillment and involvement in caring for
The child.
Exactly.
How about the community?
The community.
The father, and then the aunties, mothers, everybody around.
One is that it's cost effective. Breastfeeding is cost effective. The father will have to spend less.
Less. He's not even spending at all.
Yes. He just has to spend on the mother's feeding. For the mother to
maybe he will have to do some emotional spending when it comes to the support.
Emotional spending.
I don't know.
He doesn't have to buy formula, he doesn't have to buy sterilizers and all that. So it's cost effective. And then secondly, it's environment friendly. We don't have tins of milk to throw. We have a lot of trash to dispose.
Yes.
Exactly. And then because it protects the children and makes them less likely to fall ill, there's a lot of cost saved from healthcare. The children are not falling ill
on a regular basis. So I think I'm interested in that part, because what happens to a child who is actually an SS, like a sickle cell anemia child? Is there not like a different aspect to that child? Won't the child also fall ill?
Okay, the child, those with sickle cell anemia actually, most of them don't really get to fall ill early in the first 6 months of life. But the breastfeeding actually helps to improve their immunity. They already have a challenge with the hemoglobin, and then it affects their immunity. They tend to generally be less immunocompetent. That's the ability to fight infections. But when they are exclusively breastfed, you see that they tend to have a higher immunity compared to those that were not exclusively breastfed. So on the long run, they are better off. They are better off being breastfed than those that have their own formula. So as long as the mother is alive, every child should be breastfed. Yes.
Okay, I know we can't really exhaust this in this one episode, but we're going to talk about the very last question. That's if I make up my mind. This is really the most interesting part that I know I'd like to know about, and of course the viewers out there also want to be a part of this last question. Now, we're all Africans, and our culture actually forbids a lot of things and also permits a lot of things. I know we have some cultural effects in some parts of the country that will have something against breastfeeding. So do you mind telling us some of the cultural effects that is associated to breastfeeding and motherhood?
Alright, there are lots of cultural practices.
A lot of cultural practices.
Some promote breastfeeding and some do not promote breastfeeding.
Okay.
So, and we start maybe with those that promote breastfeeding.
Yeah, you can start with the positive to the negative.
Like our traditional culture of Omugo. What happens when the mother of the new mom comes to visit
the family.
He offers a lot of support. They are there to guide the mothers and help.
Okay.
So they take care of the babies, they cook delicious meals, all those activities are just geared towards supporting and encouraging the new mother.
Okay.
Alright. Then the women in culture where a newborn baby sleeps with the mother also promotes breastfeeding because there's proximity and the mother can just always feed the baby. But there are some other harmful practices and some other traditional activities that are not so beneficial, or beliefs, misconceptions.
Okay.
Like some people feel that what happens is that when a mother puts to bed, the first breast milk that comes out in the first few days, 3 days, is called colostrum. It's thick, it's golden yellow in color.
Okay.
So it's not like what comes out later on. So like that is lighter and whitish. So some people think it's dirty and unhealthy for the baby. Meanwhile, it's rich, it's energy dense, has all the nutrients, and it also has antibodies that protect the baby from infections. So it's like the first vaccination that a new baby gets. So some people believe that this is dirty and should not be
Give it to the
discarded.
child.
So they
I
just
know.
discard that and focus on giving the baby water and glucose water. So such practices should be discouraged. And then some other people think that when for one reason or the other don't breastfeed a child for a couple of days, maybe the mother is ill, that the breast milk goes sour. That you shouldn't breastfeed again. That is not true. It doesn't go sour. In fact, in cases where we have maternal demise, death of the mother, we even get people, aunts, grandmothers, that serve as wet nurses and feed these babies.
They still breastfeed these
They
babies.
still able to breastfeed. So how
Oh,
much
wow.
more when you just have a short interval? So no matter what happens, people should be encouraged to continue breastfeeding.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Ndidi. It has been such an amazing time with you on the show. But before we run, can you just tell the audience something? Just tell them maybe like an advice on breastfeeding. I know everybody will want to hear this.
All right. My advice to the general public is what the World Health Organization and UNICEF recommends. The recommendation is that all newborn babies should be exclusively breastfed, and that means giving these children breast milk only for the first 6 months of life on demand, and the frequency should be at 8 to 12 times in a day, including the night periods. These children don't need water because there's enough water. Up to 90% of the breast milk content is water. So they don't need water. They don't need all those other things. They just need to be breastfed exclusively for 6 months. And afterwards, complementary feeds as the cereals are introduced. And breastfeeding is supposed to be continued for 2 years. But that is the recommendation. But if the minimum recommendation is for like 1 year, because these children have a lot of benefits from taking breast milk. We talked about the nutritional benefits. They have, and the breast milk also has anti-infective properties that protect the children and prevent them from having illnesses like diarrhea diseases, respiratory tract infections, and even allergies and asthmas. Breastfed children also have the advantage of having higher intelligence quotients. That's because the breast milk contains amino acids that help in the development of the brain. And so the studies have shown that these babies that are breastfed, and when followed even into adulthood, they tend to do better. They have better even job opportunities and outcomes because of the high intelligence that that developed over time. And that is why I'm here to advocate that everybody should be involved in supporting mothers to breastfeed. The fathers, the mothers, the bosses at our workplaces, exactly, especially in the private sector, mothers should be given long maternity leaves so they can have enough time to breastfeed. Crèches and breastfeeding rooms should be provided in the workplaces so that these mothers can breastfeed
the children.
And so the environment just needs to be
conducive enough.
It's cheap, it's affordable. You don't need to buy milk all the time.
Of about 5,000, 3,000.
Exactly. You don't need to buy sterilizers. It's readily available. It's affordable. Everybody can do it, and it promotes bonding between the mother and the child. There is nothing like that. You have frequent contact between this mother and then the baby from time to time as she breastfeeds, and this helps to promote the bonding and emotional attachment
to the
and
child.
It improves the emotional health of the child.
Oh, Dr. Ndidi, if we allow you, you're going to give us a full concept of breastfeeding. I'm going to thank you so much. We're so excited to have you, but we're going to go on a very short break. When we're right back, we'll have the most interesting segment of the show. It's called Pages Trivia, so stay with us. Alright, welcome back from the break. It's been Pages with Tiana. If you're just joining us, and I have my guest here, Dr. Ndidi. She has been amazing. She's told us a lot we need to know about the benefits and the effects of breastfeeding and motherhood. But this is the time where we're going to have so much fun on the show. It's Pages Trivia, and it's that segment where Dr. Ndidi, we're going to know a little bit about her. So she's just going to choose 3 numbers from the 10 numbers I have here, and then we'll go ahead with the show. Dr. Ndidi, you ready?
Yeah.
So you have 10 questions to choose from 3 numbers from.
Number 1.
Number 1 says, if we have to check your bag right now, what are the 5 things that are not missing from your handbag?
5 things.
Yes.
My pen, my phone, my jotter, my hanky, and my perfume.
You're very sure?
Yes.
Okay, that was a nice word. I think I have to clap for you. Okay, your second question. Take your second number.
Number 7.
Number 7 says, how many minutes does it take you to dress up? Be truthful.
It depends on the occasion.
Okay.
I can do it in 5 minutes. I can do it 15 minutes.
How many minutes did it take you to dress up today?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Dr. Ndidi, you're very sure.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, take your last
About 10
question.
minutes.
Take your last number.
Number 10.
Okay. Number 10 says, what's your order of bathing? Do you start from the leg to the head or from the head to the leg?
I start from the head.
You start from the head to the leg.
Face.
From the face down.
Yeah.
So it's that the best pattern of bathing? Head down or leg up?
I think so.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Ndidi. It's been an amazing time on the show Pages with Tiana. I've had so much fun and I hope you did as well because Dr. Ndidi has been so incredible. Well, until I meet you next time, same station. It's your girl Tiana and it's the show Pages with Tiana. Do stay safe. God
Okay.
bless.